board member Jamie Reaver could not make it. I'll just let everybody introduce themselves real quick, and then we'll turn it over to Tom and Amanda.
I'm Anna Lasota.
Aaron Troll, Aaron Harder, Dion Laurel, Scott Briggs, Trey Cotty,
Amanda Gutierrez.
Tom McAvoy.
I'm Jennifer Kraus. I'm the one you've been emailing, just so y'all know.
And we got a couple other in the back. I'm sorry, Mark Denner, Kevin Hams. And there are 3 USB 253ers who could not make it because today's a school day. Okay, we'll turn it over to Tom.
Do you want to address the screen? I think there's 6 or 7. Can you guys hear me?
Can you give a hand?
Yep.
Thumbs up? Okay.
Okay, do you guys want to introduce yourself real quick?
We just the committee members, just committee.
Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind.
Okay, Tom and Amanda from Emporia Rec Center are going to give a brief overview of history of ERC and where we're hoping to go.
All right, I'm gonna start off because I'm the older guy and I understand history. We go back 70 years. This is our 70th anniversary as a Joint Recreation Commission, which was formed with the City Commission and the school district back in the day. There was a vote and the citizens of Emporia decided in 1953 to establish a Joint Recreation Commission. Over the years, the first recreation center was an old YMCA building up the street here. It was built in 1921. And trust me, when we moved over to this building in 1977, my predecessor went over to get some files and the ceiling had collapsed on where the secretary was. So this is how we've operated over the years, and this facility here is named after him, the Lee Barron Recreation Center, and it was done in 3 phases. This first phase was done in 1977. The second phase was the natatorium and the racquetball courts. That was done in 1982, and in 1991, the gymnasium was added as the 3rd phase here in the building. There are right now total about 48,000 square feet here in this building. Now, as you've observed and tried to park, it is a well-used building, overused building. And I don't know if you had to park out on the street or whatever, but it's usually like this in the mornings here at the center. And it's pretty busy all the time. That's all I have on the brief history of the Rec Commission, and we've outgrown this building, and we're looking forward to building a new recreation center.
So I'm going to talk real quick. So again, my name is Amanda Gutierrez. I have been with the Rec Center since about 2001. I went to Emporia State University, got my recreation degree, played basketball there. I actually came down here I needed a summer job to work with some youth. I had lots of experience doing some experience with other things. And anyway, Tom didn't know it, but he lost his sports supervisor just a couple of months after I started, and he was desperate and said, hey, I need a sports supervisor. So I've been here ever since. But I want to talk a little bit about who we are. We are a community rec center. And so the parking lot shows you, but I just want to tell you in 2023, I kind of had the front office pull up some numbers for me, but we had over 2,000 fitness group members, right? So obviously they came multiple times, but we did have about 2,000 members that walked through, to go to our fitness room. We had over 3,000 kids sign up to participate in our youth sports. We do use part of our building, but we also program facilities provided by the school district and the city. We had over 800 kids who did swim lessons in 2023. And on average, we have about 100 adults who use our pool, okay? And those are mostly elderly folks. And I'll kind of come back around to all of that here in just a minute. We are the only public swimming pool in Emporia. We're the only public gymnasium. So if you're a kid who wants to just come in and kick a ball around, or you want to shoot baskets, we are the only public gymnasium, and we are free for kids, right? So if you're just a kiddo who wants to come kick a soccer ball, you can do that for free. And we are the only public racquetball courts. But here's where I want to say, I don't know that we fail our community, but maybe in a way we're failing our community right now. So if you're a stay-at-home mom and have a 3 and a 4-year-old and it's 10 in the morning and you just want to get out of the house, well, at 10 in the morning, we have pickleball in our gym. So you can't use our gym right now. If you want to maybe go swimming with our only public pool, well, we've got our silver dolphins and our arthritis classes going on. So on one hand, we serve the community well, but sometimes it feels like we're failing our community because we just don't have the space to offer multiple activities. And right now in Emporia, there is no public indoor turf. Okay, so right now, if you want to use anything indoor, if you're a softball coach, baseball coach, soccer, you've got to touch base with either the university to use their facility or the high school. And those are heavily used and you can't always get in. So who do we kind of want to be? Well, we want to maintain who we are, right? We want those 2,000 fitness room members, those 3,000 kids. But we want to really help Emporia also become a destination, a weekend destination. So maybe you're going to hit up Red Rocks and, you know, we've got Champions Landing coming. Maybe you're going to catch a show at the Granada and then, ooh, let's go hit the Rec Center's new family indoor aquatic center, right? We want to help Emporia grow and be a place for visitors to come. Emporia, we only have one 5A high school, just so kind of know that about us. And I'm a big believer that successful athletic programs kind of develop school pride, which helps with student achievement, which helps with community pride. So we would kind of love to be a part of that. My example there, in our youth basketball, we had 400 kids this last year, right? That was great, but we have one gym. So of those 400 kids, some of them were practicing at 8:15 at night at Riverside. Okay, probably might not get some of those kids back. That's just not a good experience when you're a mom and you've got to take your kid to practice at 8:15 at night. But so we want to kind of help be a place that those kids can play and develop. Our youth volleyball, we're only able to offer a couple of clinics twice a year because we just don't have the gym space. So it would be great to be able to, so those are just two examples of ways that we would kind of like to help our community and help our school. We'd also like to be a little bit more of an economic impact for our community. I'm gonna toot KRPA's horn here real quick, Kansas Parks and Rec. They just came out with an economic impact calculator. I believe we are the second state to do so. I believe Florida was one, JBK can tell me, and I think California's next. So Kansas is squished in between those two big states of this economic calculator. And so I just punched in this calculator. You know, it's very specific about what part of the state, how many visitors, and overnight. But I just punched in, if we did a 15-team 2-day basketball tournament, and only 35% of those spending the night, the impact of that is about $50,000. So now start doing the math. If we have 10 basketball tournaments and 10 volleyball tournaments in a year, right? That math really starts to add up for our community while we're still serving those 2,000 fitness room members and all that other stuff. So I'm really going to end with, there feels like there is just a lot of community input and a lot of excitement to move forward. So through the years, we've done some focus groups. Back in 2018, we did some focus groups, and they said a lot of you know, what we need. We had the Future Funding Task Force last summer. You know, that the RDA did their placemaking grant, and I know the Rec Center in a bigger community came up a lot. We did a needs assessment survey last summer with over 800 respondents. Some of you've probably seen that. You know, we did a Celebrate ERC group for the whole year of 2023. So we had 15 or 20 community members come in once a month to kind of learn about us, and we showed them the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I think those folks are ready to kind of be our advocates and to go out and try to help sell a new facility. And then obviously we put together this steering committee. So it feels like there's this momentum and this excitement to really do, to build a facility, again, that the community can be proud of, but can also draw some folks to our wonderful city. That's what I got.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Amanda. Now we'll turn it over to City Manager Trey Cockett, and he'll talk about the overview of this bid process.
All right. Obviously, it looks like you guys all got the RFQ, so I'm not going to sit here and try to go line by line through 29th. Questions are due April 16th at noon. We will send out something, probably a week before it's due with answering the questions that were submitted by April 16th. We will send all the questions that were submitted out to everybody, so just be aware of that. They won't all flow out, everybody will get to see, not who sent by firm or anything, but just questions that were sent in and the answers. Once we have that, we will need to determine a short list. Those interviews will take place the week of June 10th. Right now, we are anticipating shortlisting 2 to 4 firms. Obviously, it depends on where that break is, whether it's 2, 3, or 4. We are doing things a little bit differently than we have in the past. We are asking the shortlist folks to submit fees. So the first is going to be pre-construction fee, or pre-election. I'm going to call it pre-election fee. This is really all the work up to the election. And then once the election, if the election is successful, then we'll go into a design contract at that point. We do want to know what those design fees are ahead of time, so we don't get to right after the election and surprise, it's a 12% fee, and we weren't really expecting that. So that's why we are asking for those fees up front. The other, I'm going to call it slightly abnormal thing that we're doing with this process is we are doing architect and CMAR selection at the same time. And that's really coming off, we're in process on a new fire station, about $11 million fire station that's being constructed in the city. And pretty much we hired the architect, we spent the next 6 weeks hiring the CMAR, and it was like, why can't we do these at the same time and we can get rocking and rolling a little bit sooner. The one thing, when we get down to short list, we will ask the architect firm, or the architect short list folks, please do rate the CMARs, and we'll ask the CMARs the same question of the architects. We just want to make sure we have a good match between architects, engineer, and CMAR. If there is a tripping hazard, we want to be aware of that tripping hazard ahead of time before we try to make a marriage. That's really my quick rundown of that. And then,
Thanks, Greg. All right, open the floor to questions. I'm gonna start online. Anybody online got a question? Does anyone in here have questions? Did they want to pronounce out loud? You're more than welcome to send them to us post this. We do appreciate the large turnout. I think I counted 17 firms, and I don't even have the ones online or the ones that came in a little late. Or RFQ, was that good?
I know, I'm sitting here amazed at people that have the questions. We're so new at this, I was really hoping you, tell us what we're doing, but you're not, so.
We need to get a prize, whoever asks the first question gets.
At recreation.
There.
This being a sales tax increase, is the design influencing the sales tax, or does the sales tax influence the design?
A little bit of both. At least I'll speak for myself and Commissioner Brinkman. We want to definitely keep it at a half cent or less, preferably a quarter or a third. Obviously, what our wants and needs are for a facility will also depend on what the sales tax will be. If a 30% raises $20 million and we need a $25 million facility, then we need to up the sales tax a little bit. There's also some room for other needs besides just the rec center. Some outdoor needs, maybe some soccer fields out of Trisa that could be rolled into this. These are just options depending on what the dollar amount are. We put money into a golf course. There's facilities at ESU. There's a lot of facilities that need stuff. That'll all depend on what once we pick a architect and a CMAR, what number we come up with.
Do I understand that to mean that we're probably looking at a master plan, potentially not everything be done in the initial phase?
Yeah, I know, County Commissioner Briggs brought up is this a tax that's gonna go for 20 years no matter what? And once the rec center's paid off, we'll just find other things to pay for. I think when we take it to a vote, we would prefer to have everything in there. And if all that stuff gets paid off in 18 years, we'll end the tax then, but have a little bit of a leeway to, I mean, obviously, the tax that we collect on January of 2034 is not gonna exactly match what the dollar amount was, but find something to put the money towards if it runs a little bit over.
Have you already identified potential sites or alternate sites to the site?
Good answer.
We do not own them currently. Well, I'll put it this way, we have this site that's owned. We have another site on the west side of town that's owned, and we have a site just up the street that is not owned.
And I think the big issue is the facility size we're talking about. I think one of the things that came out of the needs assessment survey is that if it's a community rec center, it kind of needs to be accessible to the community. But where do you find some green space or some empty space that size within the community? So our options are maybe a little bit limited, but we have looked at a couple of sites, but maybe one of you has a better idea, but we have looked at some sites.
The fee you're asking for, you want that in like a percent form, because the scope's not gonna be fully.
Correct. So the pre-construction should be, in my mind, our pre-election, let's call it pre-election, that should be $1. You know, should be $1 fee, but the post-election design, it should be a percentage in my mind.
Going back to a comment you made, I noticed in the survey that the bulk of your survey respondents were
Northwest,
northwest.
yes.
So when you say community, it's central to community, accessible by the community. What does that mean to you when you have that many people interested in this that are northwest?
But what's funny, if you one time I don't remember the exact figures, but I went through and of those that lived in the Northwest, I think over 50% still responded that it needs to be centrally located. So even the folks that live in the Northwest still understand the importance of it being centrally located. Yeah, it might have been closer to 60%.
Overall, I do have the survey pulled up, and it does say central Emporia location, 41% of the respondents. So even though a lot of them did live in the Northwest, they still feel like it needs to be centrally located.
Curious what some of the other obstacles or hot topics are for community support for successfully passing funding.
To me, the only, I don't know if it's I feel like there's a lot of community support. I think some of your bigger name, I don't know big name, but some of your businesses that sell higher price items aren't gonna love a sales tax, right? So that's probably would be I think our biggest obstacle of getting a sales tax. But I really do think there's a lot of support. And here's what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna toot the rec center's horn. You know, Active for Life is our tagline. And we really believe that, and we live that every day, as far as swim lessons for a 3-month-old. And, you know, I teach a Fit Forever class, and there's an 87-year-old man that comes 5 days a week to this class. So we really do offer programming from a 3-month-old to 103. So we hit a lot of people in our community who will see value in this and who will use this. So I think that the pros definitely outweigh a little bit of the cons of there are some, I mean, who wants a tax, right? Like none of us are like, yeah, tax is more money, but I do think there'll be a little bit of a hurdle with some folks who sell some higher end products.
Mobile products. Mobile.
Mainly 4 wheels.
I have a question on the schedule. You identified a couple items in the RSQ. One is a target of October for completion of the site concept study, and then early 2025 for the vote. Are there any other activities that you are targeting as a committee in terms of wanting to get out in front of the community, either with a presentation or some other goal before the end of the year that might drive the schedule as well?
I mean, on one hand, there's a reason we're not shooting for the November ballot, being a presidential ballot. That's just busy with the national messaging. You're not gonna be able to do a whole lot before the election. So yeah, sometime in November, probably have some community meetings. December becomes a blackout period, and then, we don't have that January, February, I think we all are thinking like January, early February. We also know awful difficult to have community meetings that time of year.
What are the expectations for this one?
Yes.
Good question.
And I guess I think, we have a limited budget. So, that means operationally, that means to do a new facility. So I think that's going to be, at least early on, in the feasibility study. Do we continue to use this building? What does that look like? What does that feel like? On one hand, I'm speaking for myself and probably a couple of members of the city commission. If we could have everybody in one brand new building, I think that would be the preferred alternative. But at the end of the day, we're making financial decisions that, we need to understand how that works. So that, good question. The way the rec commission, if I get this wrong, Tom, maybe we can ask them. Under Kansas law, the rec commission cannot own property. So this building is a city building. We're anticipating, because it's gonna be a city sales tax, for the new building to be a city building as well. It might end up being a county building, just to utilize a public building commission. They have that set up. So we're working on all the details, and we'll have bond counsel involved, but I would imagine that even if we use the public building commission at the end of that 20 years or whatever on the debt, then it would be transferred to the city. So going back to this building, I think, we need to find out if it's gonna be used or not used, and then I think we go through a community visioning process on how to move forward with this building if it's not gonna be used.
You described family pool in your survey. Can you give us a little more background into what your thoughts are about what type of pool you're thinking about? Lab, family, zero entry?
Yeah.
Yes.
All of the above, which if you haven't seen our facility, I'd be happy to walk anyone around when we're finished, but right now, our pool is just one big square. It's got 4 lanes, about a 25-meter 4-lane pool that we keep anywhere between 80 and 90 degrees. So we have one big, huge therapeutic pool. So again, if you are, well, I like the hot water too, but for our arthritis classes, that's great. They love it. But man, if you're a lap swimmer and it's 90 degrees, that's way too hot. If you are a 13-year-old, there's not all that much excitement about the big square pool. If you are a 3-year-old, there's not much excitement and safety-wise, right? Or there's no zero depth. So I think our vision is, again, a place where whether you are 3 months old or you are 103, that indoor aquatic center has something for you. And it probably is going to be multiple bodies of water, not just the one pool. Does that help answer that question? Come on, I'm feeling good. I like to talk.
I don't know if it was true or not, but I saw on the internet where the operational cost of this facility was $16,000 a day. Is that actually true?
No.
I know it costs a lot of money to heat water at 90 degrees, but because I've been involved in some swimming pools before, and then you have to do away with the humidity from that process.
Would you just?
What's our monthly utility
Yeah,
bill?
we did just look at that. I'm about ready to run and get that. It's on my
It's on
desk.
your desk somewhere under the
Or
pile.
it's, the monthly bill is, I don't know,
Talk amongst yourselves.
The swimming pool right now with all three phases is broken down. The gymnasium takes up about 15% of utilities. The indoor swimming pool takes up, I think, 54% of the utilities, and the remainder is on this end of the building in phase one.
So we've considered the operational cost of the new facilities? Okay,
Part of that, that'll be part of the process.
that'll be part of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cause if we went and, if we go and build a $40 million facility and it costs $6 million a year to operate, the rec center doesn't have that kind of fund coming from the USD factory tax. So all of it has to be considered, has to be sustainable. Anything else while she's grabbing a utility bill? No Evergy folks here, they can just tell us.
There she is.
Drum roll. So we did kind of look this up because it was something that is being talked about when you talk about one facility or two facilities. We're like, what does it cost? Our total electric bill for the year of 2023, total electric bill was $40,000, $366. And then Tom broke that down between the phases. So phase two, which does have the pool, was $39,000. Oh no, I just said that wrong. A percentage, hold on, my percentage is wrong, but our overall utility bill was $73,000. The electric bill was $40,000, and phase two is 54% of that. So I see my math is wrong there, but
And that's for the year.
for the year.
For the year.
So not 16,000 a day.
No, utilities aren't gonna go down.
No, they will not. Anybody online got any questions? Okay. We're gonna adjourn shortly. Just a reminder on timelines, questions from you all are due by April 16th. This committee is meeting shortly thereafter to answer said questions and send them all back. They will not say who asked them, but we will submit all questions just in case you didn't think of them. And then the bids themselves are due by noon on April 29th. Again, we will meet shortly after then to pick some finalists and notify said finalists to come meet the week of June 10th. We're looking really forward to it. You guys got anything else up here?
Will you please send the sign up sheets out when you send out the answers to the questions?
We will probably just go ahead and send those out today.
Maybe someone I want to team up with.
We'll send the CMAR stuff to everybody.
Yeah, we'll send the A list.
We have CMAR too today. We'll send A and CMAR to everybody. We want to be as transparent as possible, obviously, since we're working with public tax dollars. Hopefully most of it coming from outside of our district. All right, I think I need a motion to adjourn. From one of you guys. All motions. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn until 2 p.m. All in favor, state aye.
Again, anybody who wants a tour, you can just out here and call it. Our big fun.